Here we're going to talk about counter wrapping or cross wrapping. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to tie in a piece of wire, just like you do on, let's say, a pheasant tail or a prince nymph, something of the sort, and you just leave it hanging off the back of the hook. That's what you're going to use to counter wrap. Then I went ahead and wrapped my body for this fly. I used just some pheasant tail, just like a pheasant tail nymph, and you wrap it the same way that you wrap the thread. You wrap it away from you, the same way you wrap most materials onto the hook. Now the counter wrap, you wrap the opposite way. So what I mean by that, instead of wrapping away from me, I wrap towards me. I wrap the opposite way. And you can see this little piece of wire here, basically right there, you can see how it is crossing the opposite way that the pheasant tail has been wrapped. And you do this mainly to keep it from coming apart, but it also shows your wire too. So let's just wrap it the same way that I wrap the pheasant tail. This will not be counter wrapping, this is just wrapping it the same way. So I wrap it, and you can see it kind of binds down into the pheasant tail, and you can't see it as much. And also, if one of these pieces of pheasant tail was to come unraveled or to pop loose, it would unravel down the whole entire fly because I don't have it cross wrapped. I have it wrapped the same exact way. So to counter wrap, you just go the opposite way, which usually means you kind of go under the fly and over the top. I call that wrapping towards myself. And you try to do this as evenly as possible. That's hard to do when you first start to cross wrap or counter wrap because it's kind of the opposite way of what you're used to wrapping. And then once you get towards the head of the fly, you have to keep in mind, since you're wrapping the opposite way, it's going to be a little more difficult to capture. So what I do is I hold down that wire with some tension with my right hand here, and I drop my bobbin over the top of that wire a couple of times. If you don't hold it tight and you just hold it loose, I'll kind of show you what happens. The wire will tend to roll on you. You see how each wrap I do, it kind of keeps rolling? That's because it's going the opposite way that I'm wrapping my thread. So what you have to do is you have to hold on to it, keep it in place, drop your bobbin over it a couple times with some nice tight wraps. And then once you've got it locked down with a few wraps, what I like to do is take that wire and I'll spiral it while holding the thread with tension, and that'll cut it free. And you can see those cross wraps show up very nicely, and it locks down the material and will keep it from coming unraveled. That's how to counter wrap or cross wrap, whatever you want to call it, on a nymph. Very simple technique. It's used a lot on any bodies that have herl or pheasant tail. Some people even use it on chenille bodies. Even woolly buggers use them. So it's a fairly common technique, something you'll want to learn.